I hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on opinions. So we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on opinions. And before we start with our lesson on opinions, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca, with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts. And then grade 3. Once you've selected grade 3, then you're going to scroll down up until you get to the chapter of opinions. So our chapter is opinions. Our subject that we are focusing on is English language arts, grade 3. And the lessons that we're going to be focusing on under the chapter of opinions is to distinguish facts from opinions. So we're going to distinguish facts from opinions. We're going to identify an author's statement of opinion. And we're going to choose reasons to support an opinion. So that is going to be our lessons that we're going to be focusing on under the chapter of opinions. And we are also doing our tutorial lesson on A+ students.ca. So we are doing our tutorial lesson on A+ students.ca. All right, so now we're going to get into it. So when it comes to opinions, right? So opinions is the chapter. But with any opinion, right, we also have facts. And the question is, how do we distinguish facts from opinions, right? So a fact is something that can be proved. So a fact is something that can be proved to be true, right? So something that can be proved to be true we call those facts. So whether it is calling someone, interviewing someone, checking on the internet, or anything, in order for us to verify, that's another word for it, to see if it's true, those we call facts. For example, the month of July has more than the month. So the month of July has more days than the month of June. And that is definitely a fact, because if you go and check on the calendar, then that is specifically what you'll maybe see. And that is why we say a fact is something that can be proved to be true. whether it is on the internet, whether it's in this case checking a calendar, right? But it is something where you can go and verify. That's another word that we can use, verify, if it is true. Yes, we are doing opinions. So basically, the month of July has more days than the month of June. And this is basically a fact, right? So this is a fact because if we can check the calendar, then June has 30 days and July has 31 days, which means that if we want to verify something, we want to know if it's true, we want to check that it is true or prove that it is true, then in this case, we can go and check the calendar because it is a fact that July has more days than June. So, like we say, this can be proved by looking at the calendar or counting the number of days in each month. So, that is a fact. Like we say, a fact is something that can be proven. It's like you need to prove it, you need to verify it to see if it is true. And then we have an opinion, right? And an opinion is something a person believes. It's also something that you think, and it's also something that you feel. So, an opinion is something that a person either believes, it can either be something that you think, or it can be like your feelings, right? It's like you're in your feels, and this is what I'm feeling, right? And an opinion, it cannot be proven to be true. Because remember, when it comes to an opinion, right, it is something that I believe or that you believe personally. It's something that you think or I think personally. It's something that I feel, right? So which means that I'm basically giving my opinion based on something that I feel is either weighs heavy or something that I just strongly believe in. But it's not something that can be proven. For example, July is a better month than June for camping. So if you listen to this statement, right, July is a better month than June for camping, then basically this is my opinion because I personally feel that July is a more better month than June for camping. But someone else will maybe feel that June is a better month for camping. So it's basically something that you believe, it's something that you think, it's something that you feel. So it's either the writer's opinion. And July being a better month than June for camping is basically an opinion. It's an opinion because people may have different opinions, different views, different beliefs about the month, right? For some people, July is probably a tragic month. For other people, July is a sad month. For other people, July is an exciting month, right? So different month, different days, different years. It has its own, everybody has their own beliefs or feelings about it. All right. So now we're going to aplusstudents.ca. So we are going to distinguish we're going to distinguish facts from opinions. All right, so we see the fact is something that can be proved to be true. It's like you need to verify it, you need to double check, right? If you go to the specific internet or you go to a book or you even verify by asking questions, right? And then you'll be able to see if that thing is true. Whatever somebody said is true, right? So it's something that can be proved to be true. And then we have an opinion, right? Which is something a person believes, you think, or you even feel that is what you think is true. And an opinion cannot be proven to be true. We just need to go with whatever the person says. If I have an opinion, right, you basically have to go with what I say, even though you can agree to disagree. Because remember, this is something that I believe or something that I think or feel is true. And basically, or most times, usually when people give their opinions, they stick to their opinion. All right. If we look at this statement, right, it says, which is a fact. It says, cheese is often made from milk that comes from cows, sheep, or goat. So now we need to know, is this a fact or is this an opinion? That cheese is often made from milk that comes from cows, sheep, or goats. So do you think that's a fact or do you think that's an opinion? All right, so if we look at this statement, right, which says cheese is often made from milk that comes from cows, sheep, or goat, then we will say that this is a fact, right? Because we basically make cheese from milk, and the milk can either come from cows, it can come from sheep, or it can come from goats. And then it also says, the next one says, a triangle is a shape with three sides. We need to distinguish if that is a fact or if that is an opinion. And basically, a triangle, it is a shape with three sides. A triangle. It's like you need to ask yourself, how many sides does a triangle have, right? Which means that a triangle has three sides. So which means that this is a fact. Because here we have a triangle. So which means that it is a fact. A zebra's teeth keeps growing as long as the zebra's lives. So basically, a zebra's teeth, it keeps growing as long as a zebra lives. So now we need to see, is that a fact? Can we verify it? Or is that just someone's opinion? So we are saying that a zebra's teeth, it keeps on growing as long as a zebra lives. So we need to see if that is a fact or if that is an opinion, right? So which means that in order for us to verify to see if it is a fact, right, we need to prove it by looking for information about zebras. So basically, if someone says that a zebra's teeth keeps on growing as long as a zebra lives, then we're going to go with the fact that that is just an opinion. Because yes, zebras do look funny when they are chewing, but the teeth does not grow all the time until they for as long as they live. Right? So this is basically just someone's opinion. And remember, when it comes to opinion, right, then we must understand that different people have different views, right? I have my view on something, you have your view on something. It doesn't mean because a zebra's teeth looks funny and the teeth looks big, now we'll just assume that his teeth keeps on growing for as long as he lives. No, right? Remember when it comes to opinion, opinions are basically stuff that we believe, right? It shows things that we believe, it shows things that we think about, and it shows that stuff that we feel is true. We think it is true, right? And once again, another person might have a different opinion about something, specifically how a zebra looks, especially when they eat. All right, let's go to our test. So we need to now say which sentence is a fact. It says a potato is a kind of stem, not a root. Or baked potatoes with butter are delicious. So basically, a potato is a kind of stem. It is not a root. And it says baked potatoes with butter are delicious. We need to basically state which one is the fact. And if we look at the fact, then we can maybe say that a fact is it is a kind of stem, not a root. Because remember, when it comes to baked potatoes, right, maybe not everybody takes the butter, which means that the first one is correct. So well done. The first one is correct. So which one is a fact? Is it sheep's wool is used to make all kinds of clothing? or the most comfortable clothing is made from wool. So it's either a sheep's wool is used to make all kinds of clothing, or is it a fact that shows that most comfortable clothing is made from wool? Which one do you think is a fact? All right, so if we choose or we state the facts, then we can say that sheep's wool is made to it's basically used to make all kinds of clothing. And I mean, like, even if you Google that, that is the truth. We need to state the facts, right? New York City's first subway started running on October 27, 1904. Or riding the subway is the best way to get around New York City. So we either need to say that New York City's first subway started running on October 27th, 1904, or we need to state the fact that riding the subway is the best way to get around New York City. So we'll go with the first one. And the first one is correct. Which sentence states a fact, right? Is it the Titanic sank in the Atlantic Ocean, or the movie based on the sinking of the Titanic is wonderful? So either the Titanic sank in the Atlantic Ocean, or the movie based on the sinking of the Titanic is wonderful. We need to say which one is a fact. And we will go with the first one. Because remember, when it comes to movies, right? Movies are your opinion. Because what I like is totally different to what you like, right? What you like, I can beg to differ and I'll be like, nope, I don't like that, right? So now we're going to identify an author's statement of opinion. All right. All right. So now they're saying identify an author's statement of opinion, right? So in order for us to identify an author's statement of opinion, it says water helps quench your thirst, right? So if you drink water as, let's say, as thirsty as you are, right, it does quench your thirst, especially when you're extremely thirsty, right? Which means that whatever this author says about water quenching your thirst, it is a fact, right? Because even if you read up on water, if you read up on the fact that if it quenches your thirst or not, they will basically show evidence that yes, it does quench your thirst. So that is basically a fact. Rainy days are fun to drive in. Is this a fact or opinion? So that is like a question. It's almost like asking you, do you prefer riding or driving in like when it rains? Or do you feel it is fun to drive in the rain? So that is basically a question that you need to ask yourself, right? Which means that I probably prefer driving in the rain and I feel like it is fun. However, the next person does not think that it is fun. So which means that this is an opinion. And then my car is faster than yours. Is that a fact or an opinion? So of course, depending on the car, right? Then you cannot say if somebody's car is faster than the other. But if we basically have similar cars or the same cars, and then it's a thing of I beg to differ, right? However, if you are driving a small Picanto and you are racing it with a Ferrari or Porsche, then the Ferrari or Porsche is bound to, for example, be faster than, for example, the Picanto or some big car. So basically, the car driving faster than yours, we can say that's an opinion. All right, so now we're going to identify an author's statement of opinion based on the test also. It says this lesson is explained in detail in further grades, right? This is, of course, opinion. An opinion, of course, going to explain more on a more deeper level the higher you go with the grades, right? Because when it comes to facts and when it comes to opinions, right, you really need to be able to even reference certain things that you are saying, specifically facts. So now we need to ask ourselves, right? An opinion is the person's viewpoint on how they see a certain topic or idea. Is that true or is that false? An opinion is a person's viewpoint. It's your viewpoint, it's my viewpoint, on how they see a certain topic or idea. Is that true or is that false? So we can say that an opinion is a person's viewpoint, right? Because remember, it's something that you believe, it's your feelings, right? This is your viewpoint. A fact is something that can be supported with concrete evidence. And an opinion is something that you think of a certain thing. It's what you think of a certain thing. Is that true or is that a fact? So once again, a fact is something that can be supported with concrete evidence, meaning if you go and research, interviewing people, right? You check up on it, right? Then they will pop up concrete evidence. And an opinion is what you think a certain thing is. And that is true. So we say that that is true. The number two comes after number one. So number two, it comes after number one. Is that true or is that false? And it is true because number two comes after number one. So we can then basically say, yes, number two comes after number one. So is this a fact or is it an opinion? So which means that this is a basically a fact. It's a fact that number two comes after number one. So now I don't have to say yes, it's a fact. Is it an opinion? So no, it's not an opinion. It is a fact. Right? So we say no, it's not an opinion, but we say it is a fact. All right. Rainy days are fun to drive in. Is this a fact or is this an opinion? If somebody tells you, oh, let's go and take a drive in the rain, right? Because you enjoy it, is that a fact or is that an opinion? So rainy days are fun to drive in. Is that a fact or is that an opinion? And we'll basically say that that is an opinion. Because remember, once again, I might prefer liking driving, like I might prefer driving in the rain, or I might enjoy it, or it might be fun to drive in the rain. But maybe somebody else don't like that. And that is why it is an opinion. So my car is faster than yours. Is that a fact or an opinion? So my car is faster than yours. Is that a fact or is that an opinion? So we need to say that is a fact or an opinion. So we said that when it comes to your cars being faster, it is basically an opinion, unless, of course, we see the specific car. So it is basically an opinion. Okay, so far we have distinguished between facts and we've distinguished that from opinions, right? And remember, we said that a fact is something that you can verify to be true, right? And if it is the truth, then that is a fact. Because I've verified it, I've asked questions, I've checked on the internet, right? You're asking around, right? Googling. Nowadays, you can Google anything. And if it verifies that it's true, then that is a fact. And then we have an opinion, right? And an opinion is something that you believe in, it's what you feel, it's what you think, right? And then we also have an identity of authors' statements of support, opinion, sorry. And we made mention of different statements and opinion. And remember, the more statements or opinions you do, the more someone will look into it to see if it is true. So we're going to choose reason to support our an an opinion. So now it says we need to choose reason to support our opinion, right? Snaps are better than zippers on clothing. So snaps are better than zippers on clothing. Basketball is more fun than baseball. Do you think that is a fact or do you think that's an opinion? Basketball is more fun than baseball. So basketball is more fun than baseball. And once again, your opinion, right? Because somebody might be a fanatic and watch basketball whenever the game comes on, and then the next person might feel bored, right? Watching the same thing over and over. So basically, that is an opinion on basketball is more fun than baseball. And then schools should continue to have classroom parties. And then schools should continue to have class parties. So schools should continue to have a classroom party. Do you think that is the truth, it's a fact, or do you think that's an opinion? So schools should continue to have classroom parties. Now we need to ask ourselves, is this a fact or is that an opinion? Right? Which means that this is basically your opinion, right? Because as much as some people like class parties, the others don't. So that is an opinion. So schools should start classes later in the morning. They're saying now we need to select the reason the best that best supports this opinion. School should start classes later in the morning. So now if you look at our options, children learn more in school when they get enough sleep. Is that the truth? Or some schools have a dress code, but some do not. So once again, it says school should start classes in the morning. And here we can maybe choose the one that says the children learn more in school when they get enough sleep. And the first one is correct. So well done. The first one is correct. Kids should be allowed to wear any clothing they want to wear. So kids should be allowed to wear any clothing they want to wear. So we need to also select something like these two statements that supports this opinion. It's either clothes are way, it's a way to show other people who they are. It's like some form of identity. Or schools, some schools have a dress code but do not. Some do not. All right, so it says kids should be allowed to wear any clothing they want to wear. And then the options that we have, it says clothes are way, it's a way to show off people who you are. Or some schools have a dress code, but some do not. So which one do we think is the truth? So kids should be allowed to wear any clothing as they want to wear. And we said that clothes are a way to show people who you are, or some schools have a dress code, but some do not. All right, okay, let's go with the second one because it basically links to our question or statement. Right, okay, so basically, as much as we were talking about school, right, clothing is a form of identity. Depending on what I wear and how I wear it, right, that basically shows who I am. So people should not take baths every day. It says people should not take baths every single day. Is that a fact or is that an opinion? Because it says taking a bath every day uses a lot of water, or bathtubs are usually white, but they also come in other colors. What do we think is, let's say, a fact? And then we can basically say that taking a bath takes up a lot of water every single day. And that is basically a fact. All right, so that is now the end of our lesson on opinions, right? And we had to distinguish between an opinion and what a fact is. And a fact is something that can be verified, right? It's something that you can basically check up on to see if it is the truth, right? And an opinion, it is something that you believe, something that you feel, or something that you think is the truth, right? All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on opinions. Thank you very much for joining the class and interacting, and you should have a good day further. Goodbye.